Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Block, the podcast where we talk all types of sports. Today, we are with myself, Lars, Isaiah, Ben, and our special guest, Edward Mason. How's
What's
everyone
up,
doing today?
everybody? Doing good. How about you, Lars? Thank you for having me on the show today.
Of course, I'm doing well. Well, we've got a lot of stuff to jump into today. I think we're going to start with some the most recent news, which is the NBA news. James Harden to the Nets, amongst other things, but that's like the main focus. What are you guys' reactions to this, Isaiah?
So basically, they got rid of all their depth to get James Harden. I know it's three superstars, but I don't know. I know it's a lot, but it goes downhill from there really fast. Where they had Karis LeVert, who was maybe an all-star even, and now they got Jeff Green as their next best player. He's a 1-year minimum player. So that's my opinion.
Edward?
I got one thing to say. The Nets just ruined their entire season. This trade did not go their way. I think they lost this trade more than anyone, in my opinion. So, yeah, how about you, Ben?
Ben, your mic's muted.
Oh, sorry. I think the Nets are gonna make it up the East with this James Harden trade. He's a superstar. They have Kyrie, James Harden, KD, and I have James Harden putting up great numbers again. So I got him coming out the East, still just as good.
I agree with Ben there. Honestly, I see them coming out the East this year, but when you're dealing with the trade like that, you got to think about your future as well. And when looking at what's going to happen in the future too, they kind of redid what they did back when Kevin Garnett got traded to the Nets. I mean, sure, James Harden is a lot better now, and they'll probably have a good couple of years. But looking into the future, the Nets' future is very dim.
Having Kyrie, he causes a lot of drama. They're all ball hogs. Like, they're not playmakers. So, like, they're not going to really be sharing the ball. They're just going to be taking turns, in my opinion, which I don't know if is a winning mindset, especially with a first-year coach in Steve Nash. I know they got Mike D'Antoni on the bench, but I don't even know. They could make it out the East just based off of talent and having three superstars like that. But there's a lot better teams out there for sure.
False, they're winning it all.
In my opinion, though, I think the Indiana Pacers won this trade, getting Karis LeVert. It was a good pickup for them. I think they won this trade, in my opinion. Why do you disagree, Ben?
'Cause James Harden's just better than Karis LeVert.
Uh,
What is okay?
So the Nets, they won this trade by far, getting a superstar in James Harden. They're gonna win it all this year. Lakers suck. Nets
um,
2021.
I think everyone came out pretty clean this year, but we gotta admire Cleveland coming in with the steal here, picking up Jared Allen, a great
was a
future
big
center. And
pickup, but they already got. I don't even know if they really need him. They might trade Andre Drummond because they got
That's what I was
Andre Drummond and JaVale McGee, or two centers already. Jared Allen's obviously better than JaVale McGee. I don't know if he's better than Drummond yet, but I just feel like they got a great value for him. Just I don't know how he's gonna fit into their system.
I
Wouldn't
think
be very happy if I was Jared Allen right now.
I think they're trying to move Andre Drummond now. I think he's doing a great job this season. With this whole Sexton thing going on. He's played a good. I don't know if he's a third option or not, but he's doing really well. And I think they're also trying to move on from Kevin Love this season because he's been talking about since last season. I think wanting to go to places like Portland. I think being able to have those two big contracts off the books, if they could this season, would be beneficial for them.
Cleveland's like 5-7 or something like that. They've gone a little downhill since their hot start, but Garland's been hurt, and I think they're a playoff an 8 seed maybe with a good season with everyone not hurt.
I would like to come on with the first bold take. And in my opinion, I think that the Brooklyn Nets are a top 5 team, but they are not first, second, or third. I think they will finish 4th or 5th in the East.
Who's finishing above them is
Celtics, Bucks, and the 76ers.
Well,
I mean,
I could see that. I could see that easily happen. the Nets already have 6 losses to their name. Kyrie, we don't know how much longer he's going to be out for, COVID and all of his drama. We got Katie, who's load management / injury prone. And then we got James Harden, who you never know what's going to happen with him, as we saw this season so far, trashing his teammates in the presser. But, he's on a new team. He hopefully comes in with a new attitude and changes that.
Yeah, I hope we don't see him at the strip clubs this time.
Right. Going back to that, that's a lot of personalities on this Brooklyn Nets team. You got Kyrie Irving, who basically believes he's the son of God now, right? And then you got Kevin Durant, who's had a couple petty moments, and then James Harden, who most recently he calls out his old team and goes, "We just don't have it," and that's not what you want to hear from a star caliber player.
Yeah, they got a lot of good players on the team, but those are a lot of players who sit out a lot of games. I know Harden normally doesn't sit out a lot, but this season he has been, and just got a lot going on over there. And if one of them doesn't play, especially Kyrie, probably won't be playing as much with all COVID. He's going to probably think he's better than everyone and not play. And, that's just going to happen. And they're not going to have a lot of players. Like when they didn't play, they had a solid team who'd been playing together for 2 years already, with Karis LeVert getting 25. Now you don't have that kind of player to get you those kind of numbers when KD or Kyrie or James Harden doesn't play.
What do you guys think about Victor Oladipo on the Rockets now?
I was about to say, how are we feeling about that new backcourt with John Wall and Victor Oladipo?
They got some.
I'm really mixed about them. I feel like, okay, there goes Ben. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they're kind of just run of the mill, like maybe like a 5th seed, 6th seed, but not enough to make any too much noise, like a first round exit in 7 games.
I mean, I'm looking at them now. They're 3-6. I don't think there's maybe an 8th seed, maybe a 9th seed playing game, possibly. I don't know. They just their chemistry has to be there. I just don't think they have it right now. They got to earn it though.
Yeah. So, who do you think won this trade? The Cavs, the Rockets, the Pacers, or the Nets?
Edward, what do you think?
Oh, sorry. So as I think I said before that I thought the Indiana Pacers won this trade. I do not think that anymore. I changed my opinion. I think the Rockets won this trade, getting Victor Oladipo and a minimum of 4 players. They also got 4 swap picks or pick swaps or whatever. I don't know how those work, but I
think it's 3 picks and 4 swap picks.
It's 4 picks and 4 swaps.
The swap picks is just you get the best pick out of the 2 picks. So
so that's like a maximum of 8 players, minimum of 4 players. That's a pretty big future for them. And they got Christian Wood, who's pretty young. They got Victor Oladipo, John Wall. Them two have something to prove this year. Getting the chemistry up, getting that backcourt up, And yeah.
Rockets, they're not even that bad of a team. They got a lot of good pieces: Christian Wood, Boogie, John Wall. But if they could get something for PJ Tucker, even they got a really good team. But I think now that James Harden's gone, they're obviously going to feel more free to do what they want. And I could see them being a good team in a couple years, even though they probably won't have the pieces that they have. But they'll have all these picks, and maybe if Victor Oladipo gets a little better because he's been a little down these past couple years.
Yeah, I got to go with the Rockets too. Like Isaiah was saying, we don't know if they're going to have the same team in a couple years because Victor Oladipo could do really well for them and they'll want to keep him, or they can trade him because he'll get his stock back up.
They're really old, the Rockets. They're not young. They're all in their 30s, late 20s.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
I'm really excited to watch Karis LeVert this year. I think he's gonna have a great rest of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah,
the Pacers, they got a lot of good pieces already over there. They don't really need him to carry the load as much as they did when KD and Kyrie weren't playing, because they got Sabonis and a lot of other pieces over there. I think they could even place it above the Nets if their stars don't play. So the Nets could be even a 5 seed. Because they've been losing a lot.
So would you say that Karis LeVert is better than Victor Oladipo?
Yes. Karis LeVert is an all-star in my opinion.
Interesting.
Like Siakam was an all-star last year.
I think especially this season, yeah, I give it to Karis LeVert above Victor Oladipo because I don't know, he just started off better, and I think that's going to keep going. And although I think Victor Oladipo could start to play better with a veteran John Wall, it's just Karis LeVert probably has the edge this season. But yeah, the Pacers, like you were saying, has a lot of pieces with Malcolm Brogdon, Miles Turner, Domantas Sabonis. Like,
They also got TJ Warren already had surgery.
oh yeah, I don't know about TJ Warren. I feel like the bubble was like a bubble thing.
The bubble was a thing for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
He kind of fell off after coming back from Orlando.
He even fell off in the bubble during the playoffs. They got swept by the Heat.
Yeah.
Even though they made the finals, which I think was a fluke. They should have lost.
You think Jimmy Butler? I mean, I agree. I agree with you. The Heat.
Jimmy Butler. Well, in the playoffs, it's a lot different. You know, players really go their hardest, play a lot harder defense. It's just different than the regular season where there's load management, injuries, just wanting to get the ball around more.
Yeah, I forgot about the Heat in the East. They're currently 4-5. I totally forgot about that team. I also do think it was a fluke last year. They should not have made it, but good for them. Jimmy Butler played his hardest. Bam Adebayo played good. They got young pieces, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. I think they're a solid team. They're just not there yet this year.
I don't think 4-5 is a valid representation of them because they just played their last game with 8 players, right? No Jimmy Butler, no Bam. They started Tyler at point guard.
Yeah, I agree with Lars on this. You know, they're a good team. They got 2 All-Stars in Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler, but you know, Tyler Hero's emerging, Duncan Robinson. You know, he's not an all-star, but he has all-star value to the team, you know, hitting all those jumpers. And they just got a great, what's it called, culture over there. The Heat culture, they call it. You know, they're all very supportive of each other. They have what it takes to be a good team. Just they need a little more talent. And, like, I know Jimmy Butler was a go-to player in the playoffs, but I feel like they need one more. Like if Tyler Hero gets a little better and older, I feel like they could make the finals out the East or Eastern Finals almost every year.
A lot of people are asking. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Edward.
Okay. Well, a lot of people are asking about this Hornets team. I think this Hornets team is pretty nice coming in the East, in my opinion. How about you guys?
Well, the Hornets beat the Nets. That was also a point I forgot to bring up. Like, I know it's regular season, but like they had KD and Kyrie. Just based off talent, I think you should win that game. You know, I think talent's not going to prove to be enough, especially in the regular season. And I could see them easily being at most a 5 or a 6 seed.
Yeah, the Hornets are looking nice, but they need to start LaMelo because, you know, he had his problems earlier in the season. We all had our doubts starting to accumulate about him, but now he's playing way better than Devontae Graham is right now. So it just needs something they need to consider.
I feel like he brings a spark off the bench, especially in his rookie year. Maybe bring Rozier off the bench. I like having Devontae Graham in the starting lineup, actually.
Sure. Yeah, either way it goes, I just feel like LaMelo Ball should have that starting role.
It's just the rotation. It doesn't really matter starts, in my opinion. It's just if they get the same amount of minutes, basically. Maybe 10 or 8 minutes more than LaMelo just because he's so young.
Right.
What about this Hawks team? They brought in some additions this summer. But this offseason.
You go first.
There's such a thing as too much power, you know? Like, I just feel like that it's just too much, you know, with Kevin Huerter and Bogdan competing for minutes. Danilo Gallinari should play great for them, but I don't think he's back yet, right? And then you also have John Collins, who recently has been getting in feuds with Trae Young about how he deserves the ball more and he wants to prove that he's a valuable player so he can get that max contract from some team this offseason.
I haven't heard about that John Collins drama, but it sounds true. And, you know, the Hawks, they got a lot of weird people. I don't know. I don't think Trae Young's enough to win, you know? They're basing the whole team around Trae Young and people he can pass to. But yet, I don't think he's that good yet. I know he's good, and obviously he's emerging as one of the top point guard in this league, but I don't know if it's enough to win right now. You know, I thought the Hawks even last year could make the playoffs, but, you know, they're young and they're old. They're all over the place, you know. They got Bogdan, who's hurt. The Gallinari's hurt. Like old veterans.
Yeah,
Then
and they
they
have
got
the youngest guy. I don't know if he's the youngest guy, but Onyeka Okongwu hasn't played a single game yet.
Yeah, I didn't
Maybe.
even like that pick. I didn't like how he fits into the team. They already got Clint Capella and
Yeah.
John Collins. I did not think it was a great pick. I've seen him play in high school many times, multiple, and I just don't think he's NBA good, and I don't think he'll last very long, maybe 5 years, or
Right.
he'll bounce around. And they got Kevin Herter, John, what's it called? DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish. Just they're old and they're young. Like I don't know. Like are they gonna win now or like just trying to do anything they can to help Trae Young? It's a confusing team, but they can get their chemistry together. They also got Rondo, who hasn't really been playing that much, but
Right.
they should be good. They got a lot of good people, and yeah,
I think it'll be
play in
fine
the
for
future
sure.
years. They'll be good.
One team that sort of like they surprised me a bit. I didn't expect them to do this bad. The Toronto Raptors,
Raptors. I was
2
about
and
to
8
say.
right now. I did not expect them to be at the place they're at now. They got a few solid pieces. They got Lowry, Siakam, Van Vliet, Boucher, whatever his name is. They got Anunoby too. They got some pieces. I just don't know what's happening to them. They're just choking.
I have my reasons, but why don't you go first?
I kind of figured that they'd take a little bit of a decline because last season they're coming off of the high of a championship, so they're kind of like slowly starting to hit the decline, but they still have that mentality effort. And plus, they had Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol last season. Then this season they drop off. Honestly, Aaron Baines and from Serge and Mark to Aaron Baines and Chris Boucher, it's kind of a whole new system, really. And then I didn't expect Fred to do this bad. I thought because he got the new contract, he'd play so much better, which concerns me. And Pascal has this thing going on where he'll like get the ball in the post and he'll spin and miss a shot, and it'll keep coming back to the ISO situation. But I don't really know how to feel about them right now.
Last year they did great. It was a very hard team to beat in the regular season. One of the best in the East. I think they were the 2 seed. And then they dropped off a lot this year, mainly because over the years, think about all the role players they've given up since their finals run. Danny Green, Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, like Kawhi. I know he's not a role player, but just a lot of key pieces that they had that really sparked them to win that finals. And now I know they didn't drop off as much last year, but this year, they're playing a lot more through Siakam. Uh, I think Van Fleet maybe even a little less motivated now since he already got the big deal. I don't think he was worth that much. He's just a solid role player in my opinion. I don't think he's a $90 million player. I think it was maybe 70. And they just lost a lot of pieces. They've been so close for so many years. I know they won one, but like I think just the spark is gone and motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also one team in the West that's also surprising me, the Denver Nuggets. They're currently the 12th seed, 5-6. I don't know.
I think it's just young, early in the season. I think the Raptors are gonna stay like that, but the Nuggets, I don't think is gonna stay like this. No, it's the regular season. We've been accustomed to watching competitive bubble basketball where every game mattered. When now games don't really matter as much. I know they will later, these games, but I just feel like with COVID restrictions and protocols, people being out, just once they find their consistent lineups, like Bull started yesterday for the first time. Like that's not a good sign. I know they're trying to develop him, but they got a lot of people out. Once everyone gets healthy, I think the Nuggets will make a second round exit.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Isaiah here. Also, the West is really close. Like I'm looking at the standings now. There's 3 people tied for the 2nd seed. There's 4 people tied for the 3rd seed. There's 3 people tied for the 5th. Yeah, and the Nuggets. Honestly, I don't know what's going on like early season with them, but I'm sure they'll figure it out.
I don't know. I think they were a bubble team. The Nuggets were a bubble team. Jamal Murray. That's what I think.
I don't think they're gonna do as good. No, but Nikola Jokic, he's gonna be as good. Jamal Murray might take a step back, but
people forget that they made the they game 7 of the second round 2 years ago, 2 years ago, and they lost to the Blazers by a couple points in the game 7. They've
Yeah.
been right there for a couple years now.
Right.
Michael Porter's emerging as maybe an all-star in the coming years. And I think they're a really good team, actually, and they're all pretty young. And I think they'll be a good team in the West for a solid time, a long time. But I don't know if they're ever going to be able to make it over the hump and beat the Lakers or even the Clippers.
If they want to make it over that hump, honestly, Nikola Jokic needs to get more athletic. Like I know that's harder said than done, and he's losing weight, but there's still aspects. He's really slow. He's not really a defensive force.
They're like one piece away. They need like that Zach LaVine or Bradley Beal kind of guy to come in
instead
there.
of Gary Harris.
In my opinion, kind of maybe a bold take. I think they need to trade Jamal Murray. That's what I think needs to happen.
He controls the offense very well when he plays, runs the pick and roll well, just because it's not showing up in the stat book as 30 points every night, because not every game is as competitive as it was in the bubble. I don't know if you have to trade him, but when it comes down to it, at the end of games, I've watched a couple Nuggets games this year, he can take over, and I don't think he's tradable for them. I think they should be in his future. The Nuggets should want them in their future. He's only like 23. It's really young, and I see him being really good. I don't know who you would trade him for. Who would you maybe get?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Just like a solid point guard, I guess, or not a solid, like a point guard that's at his level. That, like, I'm just saying, like, if I was the GM of their team, that would be my first move, because
I
I
don't
don't really.
like these trades where it's just like an equal swap. Like you're not getting better. Like
Like
the
a ladder,
Rockets,
not a
I
ladder.
did not like them getting Oladipo today. I did not like that for them because he's old. It's basically going into the mold of their team. They got a new young head coach, new GM. Like, are they rebuilding or are they trying to get the 8 seed? It's kind of
Right.
confusing.
Going back to that Nuggets thing really quickly, I don't know if you guys remember, but like past couple of years, they're having this debate on whether or not Jamal Murray could be the guy with Jokic on the Nuggets team, and he proved that he could be. So I don't think they're going to be moving him because they have faith in him now. We have 10 minutes left, so maybe we should wrap up this NBA portion of it. I did have a lot
I
of fun.
think we should do the NFL either
the
tomorrow.
playoffs.
Just a little closer to get my playoff picks in. I already got a couple picks in. I have my map up behind me, so I'm not changing my picks. I think I went 3 for 6 this weekend. You know what? Not what I was expecting, but I picked a lot of upsets. It happens. I got a couple right of upsets. Got a couple wrong.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
We'll do NFL next week then, or later this week, whatever.
This week, I believe.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of time. We could talk about it.
So kind of moving away from this, surprising team narratives and going back towards this big blockbuster trade drama. Do we think there's going to be any more noticeable trades this season? Coming in closely.
PJ Tucker.
Well,
I think there's a trade with him coming up.
I don't know if that's a blockbuster deal, but I for sure see especially with the rumors. I want to just say this, but PJ Tucker, I want to. He's not obviously a big deal, but just because I saw the rumors, I don't know about this year, but I mean this season, but like off season, I definitely see Bradley Beal being traded, and even Westbrook again, because that's a little bold, but. Westbrook again, I don't think DC is a great fit for him. I think he should be I think he's not an all-star anymore. I think he should be a role player on a little better team, possibly like, I don't even really know. Can't even name a team. He's kind of such a big character and big guy to carry the load for a team. Well, used to carry the load for a team. Maybe even go back to the Thunder. Now they're rebuilding. There's not really a place for him.
Yeah, during the offseason, I heard about, like, as a Clippers fan, I heard about trade rumors for him coming to the Clippers. I did not want that to happen.
Right.
Not a good. I don't see any team that fits him. He brings a team down.
Going with the 3 stars, the Clippers, could be like the Nets and try to follow them, get 3 big stars and give up the role players. But the Clippers already gave up all their picks for Paul George.
Yeah.
See Bradley Beal and
That's what I was thinking.
Zach LaVine getting traded possibly.
Yeah, I would love to see Zach LaVine or Bradley Beal on the Clippers. That would be.
I don't know the Clippers, but I could see him like a Nuggets type of team could try to get him. I could see the Lakers trying to get him. Kuzma, they signed him to an extension, in my opinion, to trade him. It's kind of hard to trade a dude with a 1 year, $2 million contract or 6 million, however much he's making.
Who would you see getting traded for Zach LaVine on the Lakers?
I think they would trade for Bradley Beal. I don't think they would trade for Zach LaVine because Zach LaVine's still a little too young. Bradley Beal's more the type of player they'd be looking for. And I think they would trade Kuzma. Kuzma's involved in any trade deal in the upcoming future for a big player. No way he stays longer than this season or even in the middle of next season. So Kuzma, I could see Taylor Horton Tucker because of his emergence as a solid role player. He's been getting a lot of minutes this season. And two first-round picks. I don't think it should be that much.
Beal?
Bradley Beal wasn't even an all-star last year.
I know, but
he got snubbed last year.
I know he's good. But
really good.
He's really good, but how much the Wizards, I don't know. Not a lot of people fit their system, and I feel like Taylor Horton Tucker, Kuzma especially, could probably flourish there a little better. I think Kuzma's really being held back being on the Lakers. I don't like him on the Lakers at all. Because I think he wants to be a star somewhere. He wants to take over games at the end. I think he could do that in Washington if Bradley Beal's gone.
See, I kind of just going back a little bit. I agree that they signed him the extension because for trades. Definitely, that makes a lot of sense to me. But Bradley Beal, it's just even though you're right that he would probably look good in Washington. I mean, Kyle Kuzma, that is. You gotta assume they want a big return for Bradley Beal, and now that they don't know if they're rebuilding or if they're fighting for the 8th seed right now. So I don't know. If I was thinking, Clippers wise, I could see them moving Lou Will and Marcus Morris, and I don't know, some whatever picks we have left.
I really don't think the Clippers can trade for anyone.
I think we could,
unless they're trading with a veteran team. Washington. I think they're trying to go young. I know obviously they traded for Russell Westbrook. Yeah. I think that was just kind of a swap to get the nagging John Wall out their heads. But, what was I trying to say?
The Wizards are a weird team in my opinion. I don't know.
The Lakers, they can offer some picks, they got some young pieces that we can give up. Even the Nuggets could trade for them, or I hate to say it, but even the Jazz, but it could go either way. But I'm not even being biased here. I don't think the Clippers could trade for anyone. Why would Washington want Lou Williams or Marcus Morris? Marcus Morris makes 4 years, $64 million, and so does Luke Kennard, which I don't think are great contracts.
Luke Kennard's a questionable player in my opinion. I don't know.
They could go for Luke Kennard possibly then. He's
early
younger.
In the season, but I just haven't seen much from him.
I was really confused of when the Clippers signed Marcus Morris to 4 years, $64 million, when the Lakers signed Markieff for $2 million.
Because Marcus Morris is way better than Markieff.
Marcus is way better than Markieff.
I don't see the difference.
Way better. First night he came out after being injured, I think he had 20 or something.
No, he had 12. But that's okay.
Same thing. I was just watching Clippers versus Pelicans downstairs, and
if they traded jerseys, would you be able to tell the difference?
By far.
The way they play, sure.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe.
Half of a finger, I'd be able to tell the difference.
I don't see a difference, but because I watch Markieff a lot, because I watch pretty much all the Laker games, but I only watch a couple Clipper games. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for today's episode of Block to Block. Had some great conversations. Every 10-year deal, get a big deal like this. James Harden to the Nets, big time deal, huge thing in the NBA Finals. picture. You know, we got a lot going on this time of season of the NBA. And I think we'll be back later this week with some NFL predictions for the upcoming week and recapping last weekend.
Right. Edward, it was great having you on the show today. We'd love to have you back another time.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast. Can't wait to come back.
It was some great conversation, you know. I really enjoyed having you on. It was great. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming,
All right,
guys.
see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
See you later, guys.